Welcome to Brian360 and welcome to my video on the hidden fees and scams of Mexico. Now, I don't want to dump on Mexico. I just want to point out that hidden fees and scams can happen anywhere when you're on vacation. You might come to visit Canada and get taken. But given other YouTube videos that I've seen and the things we experienced in our 2 weeks in Tulum, some of these seem to be a little more common. So if you are traveling to Mexico, if you're traveling to Tulum specifically, these are some of the things that you might encounter. And by watching this video, hopefully you can not become a victim. We fell victim to a couple of these. A couple times we came out on top, so good for us. But if you are planning on traveling to that area, please watch this video, especially number 5. Number 5 is what drove me over the edge. Number 5 is what made me make this video. Now, before we get into that, just want to acknowledge July 22nd, 2025, the day Ozzy Osbourne died. I'm a big heavy metal fan, so this is a big blow to the heavy metal community. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about that at the end of this video. So I don't want to dump on Tulum. I don't want to dump on Mexico. Like I said, this can happen anywhere, but these scams seem to be kind of common and these hidden fees. So if you are traveling to that area, just maybe plan on some additional things that maybe you weren't planning on. So I'm going to talk about the things that we experience chronologically. I think it will build to a crescendo. When we hit to number 5, I think my blood pressure is going to be elevated. My rage is going to be apparent. So if you're not watching this to prevent yourself from being a victim of a scam, just watch me lose my mind at number 5. So we had some great experiences in Mexico. So some of these things kind of took away from that. One kind of was a gray cloud over our trip. But we saw some amazing things. We swam with turtles. We saw some incredible art. We went swimming in cenotes. And for me, I love history, so going to Mayan ruins was awesome. My family they will disagree. They did not enjoy the Mayan ruins so much. Oh well. So one other thing I want to point out before diving into these, there is another YouTuber named Christine Lozada who has some videos that I wish I had watched before going to Mexico. And I watched one of her videos 2 days after I was a victim to one of the scams that she mentioned. So yeah, if you're going, watch her videos as well. Okay, so we spent 2 weeks in Tulum. We started off in Cancun. So Cancun is that's where all the airplanes come in. That's the big hub flying into Mexico. Tulum does have an airport, but the flights didn't work out for us, so it's about a 2-hour drive from Cancun to Tulum. So, number 1, whether this is a hidden fee or a scam, it's up to you. I kind of feel like it's a bit of both. So we needed a rental car to get from Cancun to Tulum. We rented the car through Expedia online. So we booked our vacation, the flights, the accommodations, and the car all through Expedia. We use Expedia all the time. I've never had a problem. So all of the car rental agencies in the Cancun airport advertised free 750,000 pesos worth of liability insurance. So that's equivalent of about $37,000 US, $45,000 Canadian. So that's great. Bonus, free insurance. Who doesn't love that? We also bought damage insurance or collision insurance for an extra $250. Just to kind of cover any other things that might happen. And we're glad we booked that. That's an example of foreshadowing. I'm going to get to that later. Okay, so we got our free liability insurance. We have our extra collision and damage insurance. Let's pick up our car and get on with our vacation. We get to Europcar. And the gentleman there tells us that there is an additional mandatory insurance that we have to purchase that will cover us for the 2 weeks. And there are different levels, but regardless, we have to buy this insurance. We explained to the guy, we're there for an hour. This is how we start our vacation. My wife and I are there for an hour. And we're explaining to this guy, we have insurance. We have the free insurance. No, no, no. The free insurance, if you want the 750,000 pesos of insurance, that only becomes valid or activated if I give him a $26,000 US deposit on my credit card. I have 3 credit cards. Not one of them has a limit of $26,000 US. Combined, I might be able to reach that. But I had money on my credit card from groceries at Costco the week before, from booking the vacation, all these other things. So that wasn't an option. And even if it were an option, I wouldn't want to put $26,000 US on my credit card. Yeah, no thanks. So we go back and forth with this guy for about an hour. This is how we start the vacation. Blows my mind. Ultimately, it comes down to we can leave the car rental agency without the car, without our $250 insurance, or we can pony up and pay the $900 Canadian for the 2 weeks of additional car insurance. So we did. It was either that or lose $800 or so for the car rental that we already had and the insurance. So here we are, an hour into our Mexican vacation, and we're already down $900. Now, one of the reasons we went to Mexico is that it was cheaper than some places. We looked at a lot of places when trying to book our vacation this year. And cost it's a factor for us. We save our money, we go on a 2-week vacation every year, and I recognize 100% that is a privilege. We are incredibly fortunate to be able to have disposable income that we can spend on a 2-week vacation, but it's not an unlimited bag of gold that I have. There are limits. So we went to Mexico, cost was an issue, and now we're $900 down. A little hard to start the vacation. Yeah, not fun. So that's point number 1. If you're renting a car in Mexico, be prepared to pay extra insurance, even if it does say online that you have free insurance or you've purchased additional insurance, you're going to have to pay some more. And actually, just to point out, I read online somewhere else that Mexican liability insurance is mandatory. So in addition to this free insurance, maybe the guy was right. I don't know. Maybe it's not a scam, but it's certainly a hidden fee. And if you're not counting on that, you just add it to the cost of your vacation. Okay. Number 2, this is definitely a scam. I'm not even going to call this a hidden fee. This is definitely a scam. And it plays on the norms of, I think, Canadian and American tourists, just the whole tipping industry. So day 2 of our vacation, it's pouring rain in Tulum. We're not going to do anything outdoors. So let's drive to Playa del Carmen. It's about a 45-minute drive north of Tulum. There's a shopping mall there, indoors. Let's go check it out. So we drive there and walk around the mall for a little bit. The rain lets up. We then decide to walk along the main strip in Playa del Carmen, which is a tourist trap like you've never seen. Everybody, come into my store, buy my tour. It's a lot. It's a lot to handle. So it starts pouring rain again, and it's around lunchtime, so we decide to go into a restaurant. This man beckons us. We go to his restaurant. We walk up the stairs. There are lots of candles on the wall. I'm not going to tell you the name of the restaurant. We had a lovely meal. The service was excellent. They made guacamole at our table. We've used that recipe several times. It was an excellent meal, excellent service. When it's time to pay, though, the gentleman brings the bill to me, and he points out on the bill the 4 entrees that we had. Cool. Plus the guacamole appetizer. Yes. And the 6 bottles of water that we had. And then he points at the very bottom of the bill, he points with his thumb, points to the total. Okay, well, that's the total. And then he walks away and brings the credit card machine back. So I put my credit card in, pay, great. We get up to leave. I leave, put 250 pesos on the table for his tip. We walk away. Great experience. Little on the pricey side, but a lovely lunch. And then 2 days later, I watched Christine Lozada's YouTube channel, and I realized that I just got scammed. So the thumb over the bill part, he was covering up the 20% tip that gets added. If you're going to add 20% to my bill, let me know. Don't cover it up with your thumb. So this guy got about a 40% tip. The service was good. It was not that good. He didn't give me a back rub. He didn't shine my shoes. Nothing. He brought my food, made guacamole. Great. Very polite, very friendly, not 40% polite and friendly. So just be aware. A couple days later, we went to a restaurant, and I will name it, Onyx in Tulum. Excellent food, excellent service, excellent entertainment. A woman who looked like she was 10 months pregnant, sang her heart out, did an excellent job. A man played the drums beside her. It was a lovely night. I've said lovely twice in this video. That's kind of dating myself. Anyway, excellent night. When the server brought me the bill, he handed it to me. He handed me the bill so I could look, and this is what the bill looked like because I took a picture of it. I couldn't actually read it because my eyes are not what they once were, so that's why I took a picture of this bill. And you'll see propina. That's the tip. 20% tip. So I know that it's built in because I would have had to ask the guy, may I see the bill? And maybe it's the Canadian in me feeling like I want to be the polite tourist. I don't want to effectively accuse the guy of adding to the bill. So may I see it? But he handed me the bill and that was fantastic. So great experience. Onyx restaurant in Tulum. Go there, enjoy. When we went to the airport on the way out of Cancun, we went to this sit-down restaurant, Johnny Rockets, I think. Guy worked his tail off. Great job. He hands me the bill as well. This time there was no tip built in. So you might get the hidden tip with the thumb. You might get the tip explicitly stated on the bill, or you might get a bill that has no tip at all. So definitely look, because you don't want to assume there's a tip and then stiff the guy and walk away, but ask to see the bill because you might want to leave him a tip when there wasn't one built into the price. So just be aware, tips might be built in. Okay, so that's two things on the list. The third one, actually this is not number 3. This is kind of a sub, maybe 2A, I don't know. This is a separate category. It's not a hidden fee or a scam, but it's just shows my descent into insanity on this vacation. We go to a couple of cenotes. We went to the Chedraui, which is the large supermarket chain in at least the Tulum area, I think. And then we went to 2 cenotes in that afternoon. When we came back to our car from the second cenote, my son points out this. There is a dent in the trunk of our car, and there is a cracked right rear reflector. So I mentioned that that additional insurance that we had purchased. I'm still waiting, a week and a half, I'm still waiting to hear back from the insurance company. I filed the claim, I filed all the necessary paperwork, but I'm still waiting to hear back. So this was this gray cloud that hung over us because this was a couple days into the vacation. We reached out to the insurance company. We reached out to the car rental company. I reached out to the police. I asked ChatGPT, who do I contact through WhatsApp to report something like this? And ChatGPT gave me a phone number for the tourism police. I sent a text message to the tourism police, got a message back saying this isn't the right department, but I'll forward your information. Nothing ever came of that. So we didn't know whether I would be stuck in Cancun at the airport on our way out, selling a kidney to pay for this damage. All of it was kind of handled. All the paperwork has been sent in, but we're still waiting to get our about $900 Canadian in repairs sent back to us. So good fun, not a scam, not a hidden fee, but a surprise. Okay, number 3. This is hidden fees. Like I said, I love history, and Mayan ruins are plentiful in the Yucatan Peninsula, that part of Mexico. I wanted to go to a place called Ekbalam, suggested by ChatGPT. I'd never heard of it. I've heard of Chichen Itza, Tulum, Coba, lots of other places. Those are kind of close to the Tulum area, especially Tulum. It's Tulum. So Ekbalam, a place where you can climb the ruins. It was fabulous. Probably my favorite excursion. Not probably, it was my favorite excursion in the 2 weeks we were in. Just kicked my camera. 2 weeks we're in Tulum. On the way there, I realized while looking at the map that Coba, another ruin, is on the way. So I kind of sheepishly say to my family, hey, what do you say we take a detour and go to Coba, and then we'll head to Ekbalam. Fantastic day, 2 Mayan ruins. Your friends at home are going to be amazed, children. It's going to blow their minds. Didn't. But I realized Coba's on the way. I look it up on my phone as we're driving there. Coba's 100 pesos per person. It's dirt cheap. That is $5 US, about $8 Canadian. That's dirt cheap. So let's go. Let's go to Coba. So we arrive there. There's a guy in a kiosk or a booth, parking booth, and he sees our car approaching. He comes out and he says, okay, well, it's 120 pesos per person for the people of Coba. Okay. Plus it's 100 pesos for entry into Coba. So now we're at 220 pesos per person. 100 pesos parking, that's acceptable, no problem. But we've now more than doubled the price, and it's fine if you're going by yourself or 2 people. Now we've got 4 people times 220 pesos, 880 versus 400. Still a cheap excursion. You're going to see Mayan ruins. That's awesome, right? Not according to my family, but it's a hidden fee, and it's just kind of bugs me. It's like the fee, you used to buy your airplane ticket and your suitcase was built in the price. Now it's an additional price, and whether it's the same or not, it's paying for that luggage separately feels like just an extra kick. An extra kick after you've already spent a lot of money. So this was kind of an extra kick at Coba. Coba was great. We then carry on to Ekbalam. Ekbalam is not cheap. 571 pesos per person. And that's fine. We knew the price, or I knew the price going in. It was going to be expensive. So we pay, we go ahead, we pass the first man, we show our ticket. Great. We go to the second checkpoint. And my family has already gone ahead. I'm the last one. And I've got my 360 camera. I've got a selfie stick that collapses down to about this size. And then I've got my camera on the end. I still have the case on it, so I wasn't recording anything. And the guy notices my camera, and he says something to me in Spanish, and I'm not really sure what he's talking about. He then points to my camera again and tells me I have to go back because there's a camera fee. A camera fee. Okay, so I leave my family, I walk back, go to the ticket booth, and I see there's a picture of GoPros and Insta360. So mine's the Insta360 camera. So I didn't notice this, but if you have a GoPro or an Insta360 or probably any other types of fancy cameras, those are considered professional cameras. And there's a fee of 63 pesos, $5 Canadian, $3 US. It's not a big deal. It's not, but it's an extra fee. It's just an extra aggravation. So we go through Ekbalam, and nobody ever checks. Once the guy rips my ticket, checks that I've paid, there's no staff in there. No one's going to check my camera. So we go through Ekbalam. It's amazing. Capture some amazing footage. We now have a 2-hour drive back to Tulum. Let's hit the washroom before we hit the road. 10 pesos each to use the washroom. Ugh. Again, that's not much. It's not a lot of money, but it's just an extra fee. Few days later, third Mayan ruin. We go to Tulum. We are staying in Tulum. How can we not go to the Tulum ruins, right? I hope you agree. My family doesn't. Anyway, 571 pesos per person, same price as Ekbalam. 63 pesos for the camera. I paid up front. I knew it. I looked for the sign. It was there. But part of that fee, the Tulum ruins are not huge. They're not, I would say, if you're going in order, Chichen Itza's at the top, Ekbalam, Tulum, Koba. Or maybe Koba, Tulum, maybe they're tied. So Tulum is not big. So part of the bonus of visiting Tulum and part of the fee is that you can go to the beach. Now that's nice if you want to make a day out of it. You visit the ruins, walk down some stairs below, see the beautiful beach of Tulum. And as you can tell, I'm playing this up a little bit. Tulum is well known because it's perched right on a cliff that looks over a beautiful Mayan Riviera beach. It's stunning, but it wasn't. What you're looking at is called sargassum. Not sarcasm with a C, but sargassum, S-A-R-G-A-S-S-U-M. And it was particularly bad this year. This was June, July of 2025 when we were in Mexico. A lot of the Caribbean islands had a tough time with sargassum. It chokes the beach. We had to walk through it when we went to do swimming with the turtles. You get these little flies or fleas or whatever. It's not pleasant. So this is built into the fee. You can come see the ruins at Tulum for 571 pesos. Then you can enjoy a day at the beach. You can't. Not in July 2025 anyway. So it's still part of the price. No discount. It's tourist tax. I should know at this point. Okay. Speaking of beaches, this is number 4. All beaches in theory in Mexico are supposed to be available to the public. And this is similar in other islands like St. Martin. It's the same thing. All the beaches are supposed to be accessible to the public. There are no private beaches really. I think the same is with Bahamas. I'm not entirely certain, but I've heard of this from other islands. It's this idea that beaches are to be enjoyed by the masses, whether you're a local, whether you're a tourist, come and enjoy. The way the Mayan Riviera is set up, so going from Cancun down to Tulum, so that 2-hour drive again, all along the beach, there are resorts. Of course, that's where resorts are going to build. That's where the tourists want to stay. Beautiful beach, all you can eat, all the amenities of an all-inclusive, that's great. The problem is if you're not staying at an all-inclusive, and we weren't, we were staying at like an 8-unit villa, so it's kind of like 8 houses around a pool, very nice place, but it's not part of a resort, so we don't have access to the beach. Not that we would want to in this case, given the sargassum, but if you wanted to go to the beach, you can't, because you've got this stretch of resorts along the highway that blocks out the beach. You can't get to the beach. When you get into some of the towns, there might be public access. In South Tulum, there was public access to a beach. We didn't go. We kind of drove by because we knew the sargassum situation. But they have beach clubs. So that, for a fee, allows you to access the beach through this beach bar restaurant setup. Those places have a minimum of $25 to $50 US per person to partake of the restaurant, beverages, bar, whatever, and you can enjoy the beach as well. So if you do want to see the beach and you're not part of a resort, you're either going to get crappy public access beach, which nobody really cares about, no one takes care of that beach, or if you want the really nice beach, you're going to have to pay up for the beach club. Like I said, $25 to $50 US per person. Family of 4, you're now looking at $100 to $200 to visit the beach. Now, it will include your meal and drinks, so there is that, but it's just an extra fee. So another thing to think about. An alternative to the beaches are cenotes, and they are kind of like freshwater swimming pools dotted throughout the Yucatan Peninsula. Some are open air. They're kind of like I said, a swimming pool, a pond. There are some that are recessed into the limestone where you look up and it's this weird kind of cavern that you're looking at. Others are part of cave systems, and those are stunning. We visited one that was part of an indoor cave, but you'll see lots of those on YouTube. So you can go visit cenotes. The cheapest one we went to was 300 pesos per person. That's $15 US per person. No, am I doing the math right? No, I'm not. Yes, that's right. Let's go with that. So 300 pesos per person. Some of them do have the additional camera fee. The ones we went to, thankfully, didn't, because I would have kind of lost my mind. But that quickly adds up, especially if you're going with a family of 4. 1,200 pesos for a family of 4 is about $85 Canadian, $60 US. So it does get expensive. And if you want to see multiple cenotes on multiple days, you're paying a lot. It is an experience. You're saving money going to Mexico. It might be a cheaper vacation, so pay that money on experiences, but it does add up quickly. Okay, here we are, number 5. And I was going to record this video in Mexico, but I wanted to adhere to a rule that's on my son's hockey team, and probably a lot of minor sports hockey teams. There's a thing called the 24-hour rule. So if you, your kid's playing in a hockey game, and little Johnny got benched for some reason. He wasn't playing well, made a dumb play, took a stupid penalty, and the coach decides to bench little Johnny. You are not allowed to call the coach. You have to wait 24 hours before you contact the coach. If you want to reach out to the coach and say, what was going on? Why did you bench my kid? The ideal is that there's a cooling off period. You have 24 hours to let the adrenaline dissipate, to let you think about your words, let you think about whether you actually really want to call the coach and say, what the hell's going on? So that's why I observed, well, I observed about a 2-week cooling off period. Yeah, it's 13 days since we got home. So about a 2-week cooling off period, because I don't know if I could have made this video in Mexico without swearing a lot in it. Anyway, number 5, and I kicked my camera again. Number 5. This is the gas station scam. And the reason I'm so sensitive to this one is that we fell victim to it 8 years ago when we were in Mexico. Or my wife and I have been to Mexico 3 times, the kids twice. So the last time all 4 of us were there 8 years ago, we fell victim to the gas station scam. So all gas stations in Mexico, at least the ones in the Yucatan Peninsula that we experience, are full service. You can't pump your own gas. So 8 years ago, we were in a resort. We rented a car to go to Chichen Itza. Come back, you have to fill it up to return it to the rental agency. It's fine. We go to a gas station, and there is a car there with hydraulics in the front. You know that when your car goes, like, I don't know why you would do it, but some people, I guess, like that. So we pull in, and there's a car parked there doing the thing. So we pull up to the pump, and all 4 of our heads turn towards the funny car. We're not paying attention to the pump. My wife, who drives all the time because she gets car sick when I drive, says to the guy, fill it, please, regular, whatever it was. Fine. So he does fill the car. We pay, give the guy a tip too, which stings even more. Gave the guy a tip. Not that tipping stings, but in a second you'll understand. And we drive away. I then do the mental math as we're driving away and thinking, that was expensive. That was a lot of money to fill up the car. And then when we get back to the hotel, I check on my tablet or my phone, whatever it was, and I realize we got charged for more gas than could physically fit in that tank. So what the guy did, and this is what I've seen on other YouTube videos, he most likely did not reset the pump. So we paid for the previous, however many pesos were on the tank, on the pump already. He fills up our car, and we've now paid twice as much. Yep. So we got taken 8 years ago. Fast forward to 2025. Really sensitive to this scam, as I said. So we pull up. First time we have to fill up our tank. All 4 of our heads turn towards the pump. Laser-like focus. We're not going to be distracted. 0. Says 0 on the pump. The woman sees the 4 of us. I feel bad for her, really, but 4 sets of eyes staring at her. She sees that. She points out to the pump. She says 0. Yep, cool, all good. She fills the car. We give her a tip. Thanks very much. Have a great day. Next time we need to fill up. We have a 9 o'clock excursion booked in Acumel to swim with turtles. That's about a half an hour drive from where we were, half an hour, 40 minutes. 8 in the morning, so let's just fill up so we have enough gas to get there and back. Okay, we pull into the gas station, different one than the first time. Same company, different gas station. 4 of us, so this time the pump's on the other side. The 4 of us, we all look, 0. Awesome. My wife says to the guy, fill regular, cool. So he takes the pump out, starts filling away. And he then points out that the front driver's tire is a little bit low. At that point, I look over to the pump and it's about 500 pesos or so. He then asks, do you want me to fill it up for you? Okay, sure. He's going to do it for free, although he did charge. He then says the other 4 tires need some air as well. So we're all distracted. We are all distracted with the air in the tires. The pump shuts off shortly after he fills up the first tire. But we're all distracted with that, right? It's like a magician. These guys are gas pump magicians. So he's done the hocus pocus. We're distracted. He then comes over and he hands the credit card machine to me. And it says 1,195 pesos. Mother... He did not put 1,195 pesos worth of gasoline in the car. There's no way when that pump shut off, that was close to 500, shut off shortly after, no way it got to 1,195 pesos. So I get out of the car and I was not proud of my behavior. I was an angry tourist and I start dropping F-bombs. I have a high boiling point for the most part. I usually don't get too worked up over things. Maybe as I get older, maybe so I'm turning into a grumpy old man. But given that we got scammed 8 years ago, that still was in my head. So when this guy tells me 1,200 pesos, I lose my mind. I'm like, there's no effing way. Not proud, like I said. I then look to the pump to see what the price is. And the pump says 0. So he had reset the pump. He put the amount, random amount on the credit card machine, but then resets the pump to 0. Bah! So again, I'm still losing my mind. He's got a buddy. His buddy comes over. His buddy, he's the peacemaker. He wants to figure out what the problem is. And I point to the pump and I say, your buddy, 0, reset the pump. We did not get 1,200 pesos worth of gas. Oh, well, that's what it is. That's what it is. Are you kidding me? So the guy then asks us if he wants us to call the cops. Sorry, other way around. He wants to know if he should call the cops. Yes, you call the cops because you are scamming us. And keep in mind, we have a 9 o'clock appointment. The clock's ticking. He comes back a minute later and says, it'll be about 20 minutes until the police show up. Well, that's great because we're going to be late for our appointment now. So then I agree. And this is in conversation with my wife. I say, we're just going to have to pay because we're screwed either way. If the cop shows up, how do I know he's not this guy's buddy? And is he honestly going to believe the tourist? The guy who has no leg to stand on. There's a pump that says 0, but the gas guy is saying it's 1,200 pesos. What am I going to do? So the second guy comes back a few minutes later, and he's got the credit card machine again, but this time it says 895 pesos, a 25% discount. We went from 1,200 to 900 pesos. I don't think they give 25% discounts to angry, swearing tourists. So at this point, this is a million, billion, quintillion % proof that this is a scam. They're not just going to cut the price by 300 pesos because I'm rude. So at this point, I just give the guy my credit card. So I don't give it to him. No, God, no. I get the machine from him. I put my credit card in. We pay our 900 pesos and we're gone. And maybe we still got scammed. 100 pesos, 200 pesos, I don't know. But it wasn't 1,200 pesos. It wasn't a 300 pesos scam. So I guess that's a little bit of a win. My blood pressure didn't see it that way. And it just, it ruined part of the day. You know, this was a nice excursion. We were going to go have fun with turtles. Great. But this was still going through my head, and it's still going through my head. And as maybe you can tell, I'm a little bit worked up still. I follow up to that. When we got back, I emailed the gas company. I won't mention them. I like to not be sued, but I emailed them and told them the story. And I took a picture of the pump. I took a picture of the gas station. I took a picture of the guy. And I complained and said, this is what happened. And to their credit, it happened actually today. So 9 days after I sent the complaint in, they came back to me and said, we recognize this. The gas station's our franchise. We'll take it to another level. But at least they did acknowledge that this was a scam. And like I said, travel is a privilege. And I know the guy at the gas station is probably not in a position where he can take his family of 4 on vacation. So I'm a little conflicted. You know, reporting the guy, I'm not certain I should have done that. But at the same time, I don't want other people to get scammed. And, you know, if it gets out that this is a scam all the time, people are going to say, I'm not going to go to Tulum anymore because I'm just going to get scammed. And I don't want that. Like I said, we had a great time. The things that we saw, the positive things that happened, it was an excellent time. So I don't want this to be this Mexican scam that is going to dissuade people from visiting Tulum and the rest of Mexico. A lot of amazing things to see, a lot of amazing experiences. So if you're screwing tourists every time, that's not great for the bottom line, for the rest of Mexico. So I don't really know what's going to happen. I don't want the guy to get fired, maybe get a slap on the wrist, maybe some more oversight, I don't know. But yeah, this was fun. Good way to scam people out of some money. All right. So that's it for the hidden fees and scams. If you want to stick around for a couple minutes, I'll tell you about the rest of the vacation. So, vacation's done. We drive back to the Cancun airport. We've reported the damage to the Tulum rental agency. So even though we picked it up in Cancun, they had a branch in Tulum. The guy took pictures. He started on the paperwork. I honestly wasn't certain what was going to happen, whether it was going to be a few $100s, a few thousand, tens of thousands. I don't know. We fill up at the gas station. There's one gas station in the airport complex. So as you're driving around in circles, there's a gas station. Same company that we had filled up with the previous 2 times. So we fill up there. Take the car back to the car rental agency. First thing the guy does, he checks the gas and he says, the tank's not full. What? We drove a kilometer, less than a mile, from the gas station to the car rental agency, and you're telling me it's not full? So I look at the gas gauge and it's not full. We've already unpacked. The kids are sitting outside. We leave the kids, wife and I hop back in the car because it's $25 US service fee to fill up the tank. So I can't take this anymore. So we get back in the car, go circle around to that same gas station, different attendant. She fills up the tank. It took an extra 6 liters. That's not an insignificant amount. An extra 6 liters. That's a gallon and a half that just got missed. So then we drive back, drop the car off. So the guy does the little circle around the car. He notices the damage to the trunk and the reflector. We knew that because he had the paperwork and told him to check it. He then says there's more damage to the car. What? He takes us over and the back left wheel well is cracked. Here's the photo. It's cracked. And he asks us, did you go to Tulum? Yes, we were in Tulum for 2 weeks. 80% of the cars that come back from Tulum have damage like this. So in Tulum, they love their speed bumps. And I swear there is a speed bump that must be a foot high, maybe more. There were smaller cars that were going over it on an angle so they don't kind of get stuck like a teeter-totter on top. And the guy said this causes a lot of damage to cars. Okay, add it to the tab. The insurance company will take care of it. If they don't, somebody will get murdered. Don't use that for evidence if I go and murder the people at the insurance company because they haven't paid us back yet. We'll see. Okay. So, we say goodbye to our car. We've signed all the paperwork away. We get onto our airplane in Cancun. It takes off. Before we got onto the airplane, we checked our luggage, and my wife asked the guy, will our bags be checked through to Toronto? Because we have a layover in Charlotte, North Carolina. This is foreshadowing. English teachers love this. The man says, yes, your bags will be checked through to Toronto. We get on the plane. We fly to Charlotte. We get there early. The pilot's happy because, hey, if you people have layovers, we have about an hour or so it's great. We're there early. We grab a quick meal. Our connecting flight is 2 hours late. So instead of an hour layover, it turns into 3 hours. We then get on our plane to Toronto. Supposed to arrive at 10:30. It lands at 12:30 in the morning. We're exhausted. And then we see this. Now, this is not a picture of the actual luggage carousel. This is a ChatGPT generated picture. But this is effectively what we see because our bags are still in Charlotte. Now, they say when you check luggage, if you have pills and things like that, you should bring that onto your carry-on. They don't mention this. I have sleep apnea. So I have a CPAP, but I don't like it. It doesn't work for me. So I have this. Okay. So that is called an oral appliance. And you put that in your mouth to pull your jaw forward so your body doesn't choke you to death while you sleep. It's very effective. I like it. I don't like it. It's a necessary evil so I don't die while I sleep. But that's sitting in my suitcase. That's sitting in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I had a horrible night's sleep. I always look forward to getting back to my bed after vacation. Not that night. It was a rough sleep. Woke up the next morning with an incredibly sore throat. Luckily, our baggage arrived at 9:20 p.m. the next night, so I was able to put that ridiculous contraption in my mouth and get some sleep. So that's my vacation, our vacation to Mexico. Hopefully those 5 points save you from paying more than you budgeted for. The extra insurance, the extra fees to visit excursions. Hopefully that will protect you from the restaurant scam with the tips, the gas station scam. Like I said, this is not a Mexico hating video. These scams can happen anywhere. But just beware, they're popular, especially the gas station scam and the restaurant scam. They're popular in Tulum, I'll say. And let's expand that to the Yucatan Peninsula. But that can happen to you in Canada. It can happen to you in Europe, happen to you in the States, wherever. So as you are a tourist, just beware. Look at me. I look like a tourist. So you could be judged by your appearance, the language. I don't speak Spanish. I grew up in Canada where we learned French. And then sometimes, if you're walking around carrying a 3-meter selfie stick, well, not sometimes, you will be pegged as a tourist for sure. Just pay attention if you're walking around with a 3-meter selfie stick and you're filming something and you're looking at that, and there isn't a warning track like there is in baseball, because this might happen to you. 360 cameras catch everything, don't they? All right. Thank you very much for watching the travel part. Ozzy Osbourne, Bark at the Moon. Ozzy Osbourne, like I said, died earlier today at the age of 76. As a kid, my brother introduced me to heavy metal, introduced me to Ozzy Osbourne. That was my very first experience with heavy metal. My brother bought a 45 of Flying High Again from Music World at Fairview Mall in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And that was my first experience with heavy metal. So Ozzy Osbourne has been with me most of my life, has been with me my entire music enjoying life. Ozzy Osbourne, as part of Black Sabbath, they invented heavy metal. It's the music I listen to every day. When I'm not doing something, if I'm not reading or not talking or whatever, if I'm just quiet, I have music playing in my head. I don't know if most people do that. I've got heavy metal playing in my head all the time, and that's a good thing. Heavy metal is, I don't know, hard to explain it, but it is, I'm not sure what I would listen to without heavy metal. I listen to lots of other types of music, but always come back to heavy metal. It's always been there. And a guy like Ozzy Osbourne and the rest of the guys in Black Sabbath, Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, Bill Ward, they invented heavy metal. Bands like Judas Priest and Iron Maiden, I love those guys to death. Airbourne, Accept, Motley Crue, lots of bands. Cinderella, I realize not heavy metal necessarily. Sabaton, there's so many bands. Too many to name. And I think they all trace their roots back to Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne and his 3 buddies from Birmingham, England. So thank you to Ozzy Osbourne. It's a sad day for heavy metal fans. I was listening to Ozzy while working on my deck today. It was a work from home day, and I can bring my laptop and work on my deck. And when I got the news, I turned it to Ozzy Osbourne Tribute. And the album, which was a tribute to Randy Rhoads, who died many years ago as well. And I just ended my work day on the last song on that album, D, Randy Rhoads playing an acoustic guitar, a song that he dedicated to his mother. So a nice way to end, a day of listening to Ozzy Osbourne when I got the bad news. So thank you very much for watching this video for the travel part. If you watched the Ozzy tribute, thank you very much for watching that. Please check out my channel for other Mexico videos. They are going to come soon. It's been a busy time, but I will be posting some of the amazing things that we experienced in Mexico. Yes, there were headaches. Yes, there were scams. Yes, there were added fees. Still a great trip. Go visit Mexico. You won't regret it. Thanks very much for watching again, and take care.